You're watching Screen Sport, where the time is coming up to 6:40. And now an opportunity to see again the second Whitbread Trophy Test match between Great Britain and France from Central Park, Wigan. Commentate.
Welcome to the Whitbread Trophy Bidder Test, the second of the two. The first was at Avignon, that ended in a 10-all draw. The second is here, Great Britain versus France at Central Park, Wigan. A Central Park, Wigan not ravished by the snow. And a Central Park, Wigan, where I'm joined by the coach of the Leeds Rugby League club, Peter Fox. Well, Peter, if the weather is right, the beard a bit cold, there could be quite a game in store down there.
Yes, I think the Great Britain side have got to produce a good game today because this is probably the last international before the series against Australia later this year.
Much had been promised at Avignon. It was said that perhaps it was the best Great Britain side. OK, one or two people missing like Jeff Gratian, but it didn't really happen at Avignon when it ended in a 10-all draw.
Very disappointing game, and Britain's got to produce a match today that will give us all incentive. And certainly the squad of players we've had together, we've changed a few players now, and I think that he's got to decide, as well as Bamford, on the players that really are the best in the country that's got to represent Great Britain.
Joe Lydon there takes the #1 shirt, the man who's just moved the record signing, moving from Widnes to Wigan for £100,000. He's not actually played for Wigan yet, but he plays for Great Britain today. Desi Drummond, the only second division player in the side. Drummond, in fact, is playing today, although the next man, Hanley, #3, is not playing. David Hanley is a late change, Ellery Hanley rather, and Hanley, in fact, is replaced by Tony Marchant of Castleford. That means for Great Britain there, I would think, Peter Fox.
Well, Hanley is a match winner, but Tony Marchant was brought into the Yorkshire side earlier this season. He's on the fringe of international honours. He's got his chance today. I think he might take it.
And there a man taking a chance also. The captain of Great Britain today, with Harry Pinner having been unable to play through injury, is David Watkinson of Hull Kingston Rovers. The French side have made but one change. Alain Moret doesn't play. The #3 shirt is taken by Denis Berger from the Le Pontier club. And Dumas, the #1 from the St Gordon's club, Gilles Dumas, the man who scored all the points for France against Great Britain. Didier Couston, #2. #3, Denis Berger from Le Ponte. Philippe Bourquet, very talented player, #4. 5 is Pascal Laroche, very, very fast. He was nearly 30 when he made his debut over there in Avignon for France. And watch for 6 and 7. 6 is Dominique Espunet, just 19-year-old, quite a whiz kid from the Lesignan club. And 7, just a year older, Patrick Entin, a 20-year-old from the Avignon club, very quick indeed. 8, the legendary Max Chantal. He spent a bit of time in the sin bin in the game at Avignon. The hooker is Patrick Bacot from Tres Catalan, the French club champions. 10 is Serge Titiot from Le Pontier. Guy Laforgue from Tres Catalan is 11. Marc Palanque, #12 from the Le Pontier club. Thierry Bernabé is 13, another Le Pontier player. And Serge Palares from Perpignan has the 14 shirt, and 15 is June-Lac Rabot. June-Lac Rabot. A little bit more about the French team in a moment. That #13 there is in fact Thierry Bernabé from the Le Ponte club. He's got a handlebar. The Great Britain side going back onto them as the national anthems are due down on the park here at Central Park. David Laws makes his debut, as does Tony Marchant. That's at 3 is Tony Marchant, 5 David Laws. Derek Fox of Featherstone Rovers continues at scrum half. How long he'll continue at Featherstone Rovers may be another thing. But I may have a word with Peter Fox about that a little bit later on. David Watkinson, the captain. The band strikes up La Marseillaise. Few French supporters here. They put a special trip together, just as Whitbread did for the one over there at Avignon. Kevin Rain of the Leeds club makes his debut for Great Britain at #11. Neil James, another debut player of Halifax at 12. Potter goes to #13. There's that Great Britain flag that Maurice Bamford insists is taken everywhere with Great Britain. The players join up in a ceremony seen before all internationals. Neil James, his debut day. Next to him, the ginger-haired John Fieldhouse. And there's Sully. Clive Sullivan, OBE, the late, in the hands there of Les Bettinson. They had a pool amongst the Great Britain players what to call the Lion. Sully, OBE. We get crowds of around 20,000 here. And the Great Britain side will be running that flag around the field. There it is. There's the Union Jack. The Great Britain fans on that far side salute it. They'll bring it all the way back across to this side of the field now. Joe Lydon with the bandage around his knee. Very talented player indeed. Peter Fox, could be quite a game. How do you see this one going from the start of it? The French aren't the best of travellers, are they?
Well, that's reputed not, but I don't think that that'll make any difference to them today. I think the French will play hard, they'll tackle hard, they'll be into the tackle because they're now adopting certain Australian tactics, so they'll tackle very hard. They have an Australian referee, by the way, as well, Tony, and the Great Britain lads will meet them in the ruck for a start.
And we're waiting now for Kevin Roberts. He's on holiday, first over in France and then over here. And the skippers come together in the middle of the field. For France, Guy Lafort from the Tres Catalan club. And David Watkinson taking the role of the Great Britain captain today. He's the Hodgkinson Rovers hooker. And who's won that toss? And it's going to be, I think, the French with the benefit of the kick, and it looks like David Watkinson in fact won the toss then, Peter.
Yes, and he's chosen to play with the wind, does David. So the Great Britain side will have to get some points in this first half, Tony.
So we're hoping then for a storming first half. Little Dumas on the centre circle. Very easy to notice him. Blonde-haired, plays scrum half for his club. Son Gaudin, who was the under-21 man of the match. He scored all 10 points for France in Avignon. Hands on his hips, just over to the left-hand side of the picture there. TD Bernabé, but here's Dumas to kick off this international, this Whitbread Trophy test. At Avignon it was 10 apiece. And an early touch of the ball for Ian Potter, who was the man of the match over there in France, and he's put to ground by Serge Titio. Lee Crooks. Boom, down he goes. Measure of the ferocity of what this game may well bring about. His Fieldhouse. Great Britain were expected to win in France. Wasn't the best of performances by a long way. In fact, Maurice Bamford admitted to us right after the game that he was rather relieved to get the result eventually of 10 apiece. Dumas. I think we'll watch the little Dumas appearing all over the field. Remember I said a scrum half for his club, but he loves to attack as well. Ellery Hanley was to have been playing. That was an injury, in fact, inside the training camp there. Dumas eager to join the line, but doesn't actually do so. Tony Myler goes in after that ball, but the man who'll pick it up is Joe Lydon. Lydon not yet played for Wigan. £100,000 transfer for Widnes, and replaces today at fullback his old teammate Berg, who former Waterloo Rugby Union player who's injured. This is Crooks, just on the halfway line on the right hand side. Watkinson in, acting halfback, no headband on him today, there was in France. Derek Fox of Featherstone Rovers, ball to boot. That's going to get the French chasing backwards, but it goes straight out into touch. But while that happens, I was talking to Derek Fox, and he really would very much like to be away from Featherstone Rovers. The club he wants to play for, I have to put it to you, Peter Fox, is Leeds. He wants to play for Leeds now. What's going to happen there?
Well, it's up to Featherstone. It's in Featherstone's court, actually, and if there's an opportunity to get it to Leeds, then obviously we're very interested, Tom.
Down in the dugout there, the French coaching unit.
Derek Fox will play a bigger part in this game too. With the absence of Harry Pinner, they'll rely more on him in the ruck to get the ball out of the ruck like Harry Pinner does.
And there's Derek Fox now with the possession of the ball. 15 yards, 10 yards inside French territory. Crooks, the man going to the ground, being forced there. And once again, Neil James now, Halifax player on his debut. Watkinson in acting half-back. Fieldhouse again, John Fieldhouse going forward for the witness player. Once again, Watkinson acting half-back. Lee Crooks is up there. What will Crooks do? Trying to go around a little wide. It comes out of Crooks' hand, and how often we saw that at Avignon. The player not being able to keep control of the ball. The French have it. 20 yards away from their own line. Great Britain goes storming in. Potter in also. So the French with possession. Dumas in the acting half-back position. First sight of the little Patrick Entard. And again the ball going all over the place. It eventually ends up in French hands, but it doesn't really matter. They're a bit scrappy at the moment, Peter.
Yes, Crooks, who were trying to get the ball back inside, that's why he lost it. And then the Frenchman there getting a quick pass out, didn't quite find his man on the outside.
And that all results in the scrum down. Derek Fox will put the ball in. The referee brings the scrimmage a bit nearer infield. Still no score here at Central Park, Wigan. As Derek Fox to Tony Myler. Myler's going to look to go one way, then looks to go the other. Myler's still running, there's no option eventually outside him. Now there is Joe Lydon in acting half-back. This is Potter, strong, fierce, running forward. In acting half-back now, Gary Schofield of Hull. Fox outside Schofield, Fox has it. The number 12 puts his shoulder down, Neil James. Substitute out at Avignon, didn't come onto the park. And now here's Kevin Rain on his debut, another Leeds player. Derek Fox, this is good moving by Great Britain now, switches it back inside, but the ball comes out of Fieldhouse's hands. Dumas looks to be hurt down there as well. Dumas holding his shoulder, was holding his leg, but Great Britain still there, right under the shadow of the French post. But the French have it now. Thierry Bernabé. Bernabé had the option outside him of Palanque, but doesn't take it. Big player Mark Palanque. Palanque has it now, looks one way but runs into a wall made up of Tony Myler and Neil James. Palanque having a verbal battle. Does speak a word or two of English, Mark Palanque. That's high up in the air. Crooks can have it. No, he doesn't. The referee will eventually try and sort it all out, having strong words with the little number 7, Patrick Entard from the Avignon club. And that is going to be an opportunity for Great Britain to kick for the sticks.
Yes, that was offside by the Frenchman who took the ball, or attempted to take the ball as Crooks was hoping to catch it and set Britain on the attack.
And here's Lee Crooks with the opportunity. None too difficult to kick, straight in front of the sticks. With the French caught offside, we are some 7 minutes now into this game. Crooks round the corner, kicking style. It's the wind licking icily at the back of his shirt. There it is, and he's hooked it. Shocking kick.
Very poor kick from Lee Crooks. He's a better goal kicker than that, and he dragged the ball way past the left post.
Maybe a measure, a little bit of nerves there, but Crooks undoubtedly missing the opportunity of giving Great Britain the early lead. Dumas, long kick. Here's Potter stretching that arm out. Such a good game at Avignon. But in fairness, it has to be said, one of the few players to shine at all in that game. Watkinson, skipper for today. Derek Fox in the acting half-back. Crooks is outside him, so too is Martin Crooks, who gets it again out of the hands of Lee Crooks. A shuffle round, but that's going to be the scrummage down, and knock on by Crooks. And Crooks having a...
Well, I think the wind is playing a part in this, Tony. It was floating in front of Crooksy. We thought he had it, but then looking to pass the ball outside, he lost it again.
And now the scrummage down, 35 yards from the French post. In tap to Espuna, 19-year-old gives it to 20-year-old. And now Philippe Fouquet. Philippe Fouquet was tackled in by Potter. Still the French giving possession there. You just joined us, the early opportunity to take the lead going to Great Britain. A kick for goal by Lee Crooks that went still France. 15 yards from the halfway line. The number 10, Serge Titiot, went off injured in the game at Avignon. And there you've got a measure of Dumas again, right up there. The fullback, working more like a scrum half, which he is, of course, with the Saint-Gobain club. Well, certainly no measure in the game yet, Peter Fox.
No, the French have certainly got to work very hard to get the ball into an attacking position because the wind is strong, and the British, if they can get the ball, should set up attacks.
That needs sorting out. Fortunately, it's not going to be the knock-on because the referee says let's retake the scrimmage again, which Derek Fox will now put the ball in. This is Fox. Potter. Gary Schofield, scorer of 4 tries against the Kiwis in one game. And Joe Lydon up with the attack. Rain. Rain keeps going. A debut today for Kevin Rain. Fieldhouse. Ian Potter. There's the high one. Long and high, tested Dumas. Dumas doesn't go for that one. Lydon's up there as well. The French eventually just lash it out. Didier Couston, the Le Pontier player, just boots it as hard as he possibly can. And now it'll be the French sticking out from under the sticks. The French looking shaky at times, Peter.
Well, these high balls in this wind and bouncing ball will put anybody under pressure. It's got to be a clean take, so if you get under the ball to be able to bring it out from defence.
And remembering your early words with Great Britain having the advantage of that wind behind them, if you look at it this way, it's 11 minutes and they've yet to score. So pressure on Great Britain to score. And the referee,
that's unique, the referee giving the French offside at that kick, Tony, and therefore Britain will get a penalty, smack under the post, which is a gift, 2 points. And
France really rather stupid there, and Lee Crooks now with a simpler kick than he had before. And surely he can't miss this one.
Well, he shouldn't do. But the French, they're premature in setting off. That's unusual that referees are so keen.
Mr. Kevin Roberts penalises the French. But can Lee Crooks make the penalty count after 11 minutes of play? Coming up to 12 minutes, and again a ball blown over by that strong wind. A bit more architecture on the Central Park pitch. We're looking at Lee Crooks. We're looking at Great Britain with the opportunity to take the lead. There go the flags up. Great Britain do lead. As France did. France went into a 2-point lead over there in Avignon. By half-time, Great Britain turned that round to 10 points to 2 as Dumas kicks off very quickly again for the French. And again, Peter Fox, the French caught offside there as Dumas rushes up to take that kick. And he's pointing out, I think it's the French skipper, Guy Lafort, but the French rather over-enthusiastic and not picking it out.
Yes, they're just getting offside positions now. The referee's got to be careful because he's made his decisions. He'll have to watch both sides carefully now, make sure that he retains that ruling for the whole of the game.
And this would be an opportunity from the halfway line, and this lad can kick him from a long way.
Crooks, he can get the ball into the air, and with this wind he can float it in if he gets the distance. That'd be the problem.
So Dumas' over-eagerness to get on with the game, possibly costing the French a couple more points behind. Lee Crooks right from the halfway line. The French caught offside. It's a long kick. It's a long kick, it's a high kick. And it doesn't go over the sticks. He wasn't too far away, but very right to take the opportunity, Peter.
Yes, it's a long kick, but it just had to be more accurate and straight. Floated past the left-hand post.
Often there are questions asked about the French temperament, and that could be a little bit under test at the moment. They've given away 2 points. They could have given away 2 more. Great Britain through Potter. Out to Fox. Fox gives Rain a chance. French are quickly up at him. Watkinson now, the skipper, up at acting halfback. Where's it going to go to? Well, he has to look for them because I'm not quite sure which of the Great Britain players was ready for that ball. Fox now is. Fox keeps going. Watkinson again. Several new caps in this Great Britain side today, namely Tony Marchant from Castleford, David Laws of Hulkingston Rovers, Kevin Rain of Leeds, and Neil James of Halifax. The French to put it in. Patrick Entard, 20-year-old player. Here's Dumas. Dumas trying to go on the blind side. Given short shrift by the Great Britain cover. Quickly gets up. Thierry Bernabé. Forward. Gets around the park a little bit. No quarter being asked or given at the moment. The French skipper gets it quickly out to Sergio Titiot, one of the Le Pontier players in the side. And Dumas again in up the acting half-back position, gives it to Bernabé. And a kick ahead from Bernabé that's going to get Joe Lydon's hands through safety, yes it is. Lydon, oh, Bernabé lashes out into the air. Did he connect with Joe Lydon? Lydon's on the deck at the moment, and the referee, Mr. Roberts, was waving away there, and a little Patrick Entard slaps out a hand. Bit of bad-tempered stuff. Ian Potter there, and the ball out of Potter's hands. Great Britain scramble for it. Derek Fox doesn't get it. And the French have it now. Inside Great Britain territory. Guy Lafort from the Tres Catalan club, the French captain. 12 and 13, stopping the French going forward. Neil James and Ian Potter. And this is Dumas. Entard. Further out along the French line that time, but Palang just lets the ball bounce out of his hands, or rather just bounces out of his rather cold hands, striking them quite a strong pass. This is Palang. Played quite well over at Avignon, and the French moving well. Good ball by the French. There's going to be an opportunity, but a joint tackle brought about. I give the credit for that to Gary Schofield. But here are the French now. Thierry Bernabé. Will he make the switch? Palang going. Gets it to the number 2. He almost gets to the chalk dust mark. Almost to the chalk dust mark. Didier too strong. And they've been given the try. They've been given the try. Mark Palang is the one getting the applause for it. France have gone ahead here at Central Park, Wigan. A real, just recap what happened there, was a good move by the French. We thought they'd failed just to get to the chalk dust marks, but Mark Palang, well, I've no doubt about it, and he touched down in the corner. Big fella there, making it 4 points to 2 for the French. And a try at this stage of the game, which must really raise French hope, Peter Fox.
Yes, they've set off very well. They're playing against the wind. It's a good try to get for them. And indeed, each man that got the ball there, the French, have supported each other, but they still had plenty to do, and each British man made a tackle, but the ball went away, and eventually Palang dived over Derek Fox to score the try. But the British players in tackling did not move forward and cut space down and allowed the French to run at them, Tony.
And Mark Palang amongst the French players there in committee meeting. They'll be delighted by that. And I think we are in for an absolute cracker now. Dumas got all the points in France. He won't do it here because Palang's got himself on the score sheet. Dumas with a chance of 2 more. No, he doesn't. Just 2 points separates the sides. We've had 16 minutes of this game, and the scoreline reads Great Britain 2, France 4. Lee Crooks to kick off for Great Britain. Great Britain with the win behind them, but behind the French on the scoreline. Long ball. Goes somewhere behind the cameraman. Eventually is plucked out by Guy Dumas. And they'll drop out from under the post, which could give Great Britain the advantage of possession and an opportunity to attack. Potter storms in. Watkinson behind him. This is Crooks. Taking the play onto that blind side. Over there there's Desi Drummond. And it comes back inside. Fox, Fieldhouse. Right under the shadow now of the French post. Fox, now what will he do with it? Gives it very quickly out to Neil James, the Halifax player making his debut today. Watkinson now with Fieldhouse outside here. Outside Fieldhouse is Potter. But put back to Fox. Fox switches the direction of play. There's Crooks. There's the ball across. Touchdown. Good try. Tony Marchant touches down a debut try for Tony Marchant of Castleford. Right on the line there, not a forward pass at all, and Great Britain back in this game. Peter Fox, they took that try well.
Yes, that was a set piece made by Crooks. The ball goes left here. Switches the ball to Lee Crooks after this play the ball. And certainly a Great Britain setup there that put Tony Marchant over, supporting play very well.
Tony Marchant gets a debut try for Great Britain. Here's the kick. Straight over. The French have another committee meeting underneath the posts. It won't make any difference to the scoreline. The Great Britain's side have 8. France have 4. We have on picture at the moment Gary Schofield with the sun in his eyes. And Dumas. Will kick off there. The flag being shaken in the breeze. James of Halifax. And the lead already having changed in this game 3 times. Potter. Derek Fox, Fieldhouse. Back to Watkinson, the skipper. Tony Myler was outside him, but he has to hang on to the ball. There's Watkinson. Get out the way, said Derek Fox. Gets in at the acting half-back position. Joe Lydon. £100,000 from Widnes to Wigan, not yet played for Wigan. That goes all the way back. Past the French dead ball line. So Peter, a lot's happened in the last few minutes. We've been playing over a quarter of the match, and Great Britain leading by 8 points to 4.
Yes, it looks like Britain are going to rely on the big forwards again, striving through the middle, making these half breaks, and trying then to get the backs on the end of it, which they did for the try. And the French, as I say, will have to have some good players really to get out of the half and really set them on the attack. They've shown it once, they can do it again.
Well, the French got out of jail after Great Britain went ahead from Lee Crooks with a penalty. But 2 tries coming in very short time. 1 for France, 1 for Great Britain. And Great Britain will also getting the advantage of the improvement kick. This is the scoreline of Great Britain 8, France 4. Dumas. Is that going to find touch? No, it finds the boot, just touch to the boot of David Laws of LKR, and now Laws goes away. Going to just call into the Great Britain side to make his debut. With a Humberside player. The Lee Crooks had the ball a moment ago, but now it's Kevin Rain of Leeds. Watkinson waving Potter away from the acting half-back position. Here's Derek Fox again. This is James. Again, Watkinson. Good moments for Great Britain, these. Crooks, Tony Myler. Outside him, Lydon. Lydon will give it to Marchant. And it goes to number 5, but he won't get as far as the line. The ball bouncing out of his hands. David Laws really didn't have the chance there. No, that wasn't a try, but getting quite close to that, Peter Fox.
Yes, the ball was a little bit high, and I think if they kept the ball a bit lower, the centre might have taken the ball, and David Laws might have had a chance to sneak in at the corner.
Number 5 there, David Laws. Debut boy today. And again in the acting half-back position, Dumas, but there's a player stretched out. I think it's Little Espioneur. In fact, it's Entat. Patrick Entat stretched out on the floor, motionless at the moment. And the French now breaking out. So is Titio. Titio looking for support. Support for the moment he doesn't get. Kick ahead. Lydon may have to go in for that one. Somebody does. Joe Lydon not forced to go to the floor, but the referee already in. And we can have a look at that injured party situation for the moment. It is, in fact, Patrick Entah getting the attention of the French physio. Meanwhile, in the centre of the park, Mark Palank having a word with the referee, Kevin Roberts. Dumas to the left. An attempt to grab for that by Gary Schofield.
Set piece there. Set piece there. A typical Australian move that. Putting a barricade up for the men running forward with the ball. And the French obviously much better on attack than defence. They enjoy attacking, the French.
So the French trying to get back more into the game now. They're losing by 8 points to 4 at the moment. Still keeping possession. And the man getting in on that move there was Gary Schofield, who I don't think speaks a word of French, but tries to have some form of conversation with Serge Titio. I think at that moment the intention of what Gary Schofield was saying was probably quite obvious. Young player. The crowd, I'm sure, not by any means certain of a Great Britain victory yet. At least they do lead after 25 minutes by 8 points to 4. And that scrummage needs sorting out. So before the game we were told that 3 would be Tony Marchant and 4 would be Gary Schofield, but that in fact is not the case. Schofield's at 3 and Marchant at 4. Potter again. Derek Fox. Tony Myler. David Watkinson coming quickly to acting half-back. Fieldhouse. France under a bit of pressure for the moment. And Great Britain will be wanting to capitalise on that. Fox. James. Keeps on going. Neil James from Halifax. 3 Frenchmen eventually stop him, some 10 metres from the French line. Fox. Crooks is still going. A forward pass. Schofield thought he was in again. Well, we'll sort that out a little bit at the moment. There was the forward pass, but in fact 3 and 4 are Gary Schofield and Tony Marchant. And the scrum down very close to that French line. And Tap puts it in. It comes out again, but was of no use to anybody at this stage. And the referee makes the quick decision there, which gets Derek Fox scuttling our way after the ball. And the French push back. Another opportunity, Peter, for Great Britain to attack.
No, it's a tap penalty here, yes, for a differential penalty for a scrum infringement.
So plunging ahead, Great Britain there, close again to the French line. The offence inside the scrummage doesn't give Great Britain the chance to take for the sticks. And now it's just a tussle underneath the French post. Thierry Bernabé trying to make his way. The Pontier player held up can see the post under there as Enta finds a Spooner, and a Spooner gives it to fiery little player Serge Kitio, 24-year-old. And we've got half an hour of this game gone now, and that scoreline still Great Britain 8, France 4. Pity is saying, you know, with Watkinson having the decision which way to kick in the first half, we've got 10 minutes of that first half remaining. 4 points may not be enough. Oh no, I don't think 4 points would be enough, but Great Britain are capable of scoring points into this win because they have more technique than the French, John. These set pieces are causing the French considerable trouble when Britain get onto the line. France with possession again. It's Pascal Laroche. But again, the referee very quickly in there indicating with the elbow. And that is going to be an opportunity for Great Britain. Saying that Pascal Laroche was using the elbow after the tackle. Guy Lafont wants to question it. Won't make any difference. The question perhaps can be answered as what's going to happen by Lee Crooks. Clear use of the elbows there, Peter. Yes, the winger was shaking himself, trying to get out of the tackle, but I do believe the referee has been a bit hard on the French at the moment because the British lads are going in just as ferocious in the tackle. Great Britain 8, France 4. Crooks with the kick at goal to take Great Britain perhaps into double figures. There he goes, and he goes wide, so that's the second of the Crooks kicks in this game that really deserved more, or he should have got more with them. And France again under their own posts. Great Britain playing at least the game where they want to play it. Having to do a lot of work, the French at the moment. Fieldhouse in on the action. Enta, having recovered from being knocked almost senseless a little bit before. Here's Joe Lydon. But it pops in at action half-back. Crooks. Crooks again. Cross to Kevin Rain. Fieldhouse, Tony Myler actually left his passport in France to talk his way through when he came back, Tony Myler, as did another player not on the park as yet, Sean Edwards. Crooks. James acting half back, box outside him. Where's the bomber? Dumas tried to go for it, but he's plucked out of the air eventually by Philippe Forquet. Dumas, Bernabé. Ball again going loose there. Plenty of opportunity in this match so far for both sides to pick up loose ball. Still 8 points to 4. And Lee Crooks at crack at his kicking boots. More directed today, it could have been 12 points to 4. Brent's gaining a little bit of ground. Tony Myler for the moment stops them gaining anymore. Couston, Enta, Guy Lafont. Oh, they keep it moving, they keep it going down that line. Pascal Laroche. Laroche still going. Specialist winger, almost 30 years old, but his first cap at Avignon. In acting half-back, Patrick Enta. Enta to Dumas. Dumas to Bernabé. Bernabé goes and gets good back up there, and the number 4 still going. Philippe Forquet from the Toulouse club. Good little spell for the French. If that man picks it up, then that's going to be offside, so he'll leave it to Ian Potter. Potter 15 yards inside Great Britain territory. Quick check of the watch tells us that with 6 minutes to go to half-time, the scoreline is Great Britain 8, France 4. Fieldhouse stumbles a little bit as it gets to the halfway line. Watkinson in that acting halfback. The ball comes out of Watkinson's hands. Gary Schofield will pick it up. Schofield goes, switches it back inside. Good move, and then the jump here. Rain's up there. Rain's looking to a man on the outside of Joe Light. Joe Light put it back on the inside. There, and that ball is just pushed across. Well, where on earth is that going to end up? The referee is not saying that that's a try. Gary Schofield is saying that it was. At the end, I think it was not forward, Peter.
Yes, Britain were unlucky there because Kevin Rain just didn't quite...
And we'll, in a second, have a look at that one again.
Beautiful break by Kevin Rain here. He goes nearly all the way, turns it to Lydon. High ball, Lydon runs through, hands off, does he? No, inside Schofield. Tackled, a beautiful tackle there, and Schofield throws the ball forward. Unfortunate Rain's in front, and the referee there.
And meanwhile, the referee having made his decision and disallowing that, France breathe again at 8 points to 4. The number 4 for Great Britain, Tony Marchant. And the scrummage down. Great Britain having had the opportunity of going further ahead in the game may well reflect on that movement very shortly, but it was exciting rugby. It didn't change the arithmetic of the score. Derek Fox, Myler, Lydon up there with the line, the fullback up there. There's Schofield gives it to Intercity, Desi Drummond. Drummond is going like an arrow. Drummond was going like an arrow, but did the ball come out in his hands? No, the referee points to the spot. It is the try. Desi Drummond gets it. It looked to me like it might have been coming out of his hands, but the referee was right on the spot. Try to Great Britain, Peter.
And a very good link into the line there. Joe Lydon made the link and he made the extra man.
And there it is. You can see it on our screen.
Good pass there by Lydon, out to Gary Schofield. A long pass to Drummond. Drummond takes the ball high, goes for the corner, and this lad scampers in. No one gets to him.
Dumas tried but couldn't make it. Great Britain 12, France 4, and Lee Crooks, who's not had his best kicking boots on today, chance to make something of amends at the moment. There were 8 points between the sides at half-time in favour of Great Britain over at Avignon, and if Crooks can kick these over the sticks from way out on that right-hand side, Tony Myler wondering whether he can. Crooks aided a little bit by the wind on that far side. The French having yet another committee meeting out of camera shot. With Lee Crooks for Great Britain and health. I don't think that one's even going to reach the 6. No. Great Britain 12, France 4. That's not the easiest of kicks. 2 earlier ones perhaps he should have kicked. Great Britain 12, 4 at the moment. A fair reflection of the scoreline.
Yes, because of the pressure they've had on Tony, but that was a critical score for Britain. They needed that badly, as they might just need another before the whistle blows for half-time.
So, Dumas, knowing that half-time is not far away at all now, just a couple of minutes away, the restart from the centre spot for France. And conversely, Peter Fox had another score for Great Britain. Could well be needed before half-time, with having had the advantage of this wind. The French could pull something back now before half-time. I'm sure their psychological advantage will be very much on the positive as they approach the second half. Fieldhouse and Kide burn the bay unceremoniously hacked him down, but play on, says the referee. Fieldhouse looks fairly unmoved. Watkinson in acting halfback. Back to Joe Lydon. Lydon the kick ahead. To go as far as Didier Couston. Couston will take his time. The players don't rush into him because they'd have been offside. And he goes back to Joe Lydon again. So Lydon, long hard kick, the £100,000 player who moved not too far away. Dumas there, the hero in France, the villain of the French at the moment, with that knock-on right in front of the French post. just as Dumas likes to attack Joe Lydon, who we were talking about a moment or two ago, has been very frequently up in the action. He creeps up behind the scrummage out of shot at the moment. The two front rows try to sort themselves out. Derek Fox, Tony Myler, Schofield back inside, that could be a straight run, no, Schofield to Drummond dodges out of one tackle, Dumas is round him, and the flag gets knocked over on that far side, the touch judge straight to the corner of the flag, and Drummond almost in the corner, but it won't count. And we've got a scrimmage down, 10 yards from the French line. Not too long remaining in this half now, into the last minute. French put it into Entard. Entard on the open side, Dumas was outside him, but Entard straight into the strong arms of Ian Potter of Wigan. Thierry Bernabé. Again the French being forced to play the game inside their own 22. Potter. I think he covered every blade of grass on a much greener Avignon than we have at Central Park, Wigan. Desmond Drummond. Drummond takes on 3 French and then finds Derek Fox up to assist him. Fox goes forward, Guy Lafort, the French skipper, tackles him. Half time then any second. Fieldhouse. Tony Myler. Myler bumping into his own players and to the French. Lee Crooks. Oh, good play there. That ball just made available at the right time, and the player at his shoulders, Kevin Rain. Watkinson. Rain again. Number 4 is Tony Marchant from Castleford on his debut. Fox. Crooks. Shielding the pass there. Neil James. James almost managing to get his foot out of the tackle. Chance for Great Britain to extend their lead. Closing seconds of the first half. Derek Fox with a grubber kick, but the French have it. Mark Palank. Palank again taken by Fox. But the all-important possession there given away to the French. The referee, Mr. Kevin Roberts. Attempting to speak to Mark Palank. Palank, I think, says he's okay. Yes, he is. And this is Thierry Bernabé. There's a little concern for the moment of the health of Mark Palank, but Palank shrugs it off. Didier Couston tries to skip around the tackles. Just coming out of the 22 of the French. And there we have half-time. A scoreline, one where Great Britain had it at their backs. Great Britain 12, France have 4. And France will have the advantage of that somewhat cold breeze behind their backs in the second half. And Peter Fox, looking at that first half, Great Britain took the lead, and when they took that lead, perhaps we thought as early as that it could have been a Great Britain walk away, but the French kept looking away and took the lead themselves.
They did very well indeed, but the British lads dropped a few balls early on, Tony, and didn't capitalise on the possession they had. Then the French got that try, it made them fight harder. Britain came back into the lead with 2 good tries, and at 12-4 I believe that the French will think they've done satisfactorily. They would have done marvellous had they not let this last try in.
Well, I think that the try scored by Mark Palank for the French was a very good opportunist try. But what about that first try for Great Britain? They took that one well too.
Yes, because it was a set piece, and the French are lost with these set pieces. The British lads know what's happening. Crooks made the effort, brought it inside, give it back to Schofield, and Schofield went in with no one getting near him.
Yes, I earlier thought that was in fact Tony Marchant that went over. The numbers on their shirts had been changed. The measure of the wind as it's blowing our papers all over the place. But that first try was scored by Gary Schofield, who almost went in for another shortly afterwards.
He did, and if it hadn't been brought back for a forward pass again, I believe off Lee Crooks. Well, Gary's strength of his game is a very quick opportunist. He sees openings, he supports the player at the death, and it's always a nail-biter whether it's a forward pass or not with Gary, but he's very swift indeed.
And then Desi Drummond goes in to make it 12 points to 4 in the corner, just about reflecting the half, but a scoreline that perhaps isn't enough for a side that played with a win.
It's enough providing Britain can get into an attacking position, because I think if they get into an attacking position, they've still got the players that can manufacture a try.
And have the French got enough bottle there, enough ability to keep fighting back?
I think the French will kick the ball a lot and keep Britain well down in their half. They do throw the ball about, the French. They'll take a risk or two, and this is where Britain might get in a ball or two and get some relief. But they've got to get the ball and fight the way upfield, because the French will certainly throw it about and try to score the points to win the match.
So there you are then. What actually happened in this first half was that the Great Britain side took the lead through Lee Crooks, but then Mark Palank, a fine try in the corner, gave France a lead by 4 points to 2. March and Schofield combined. Schofield went over for the try that took Great Britain to 8 points to 4. But this hasn't been the best of days for Lee Crooks with the boot. Des Drummond got the final points of the first half, going over in the corner. The half-time score, with Great Britain still with something to do in that second half, is Great Britain 12, France, they have 4. Join us again in a moment. Welcome back to Central Park, Wigan. The half-time scoreline, you remember, Great Britain 12, France with 4. With me, the coach of Leeds Rugby League Club, a former coach of Great Britain, Peter Fox. And Peter, one of the questions that's been intriguing me, Harry Pinner, of course, is missing this game, the Great Britain skipper, handing the captaincy over to David Watkinson. What difference do you think that Harry Pinner being not here is making?
Well, I think Harry's a creator of play. He opens play out, and if Harry had been playing, he would have been standing outside Fox and running the 2 back row men, who, by the way, are a faster back row man than originally picked. And he would have been running them wide in the middle of the field and trying to make these breaks and getting Myler on the end of them with Schofield. I think it would have made a big difference. At the moment, Britain are trying to force the way through, forcing tactics with the front rowers, Crooks, Watkinson and Fieldhouse going in and then trying to pick up. It's not quite working, Tony.
One thing I think is working, though, is Kevin Rain. I mean, he's looked at and put in some sterling stuff. I mean, he created one of the tries there with some really strong running.
Yes, Kevin is very quick. He's a big lad. He runs through very well. But he needs that man to push him through the gaps. Lee Crooks has done it on a number of occasions. Pinner might have done it a bit better, but nevertheless, I think if Crooksy can hold the ball this half and just control the ball, he'll push these second row forwards through these gaps, because they've got to make some good headway. Taz
Baltieri, the Australian-French coach, is undoubtedly in there trying to G them up a little bit at the moment. How will he feel about that first half?
I think he'll be very pleased, but just disappointed at the last try. At 8-4, he would have felt that he could have come back and won this game, and won it well. 12-4, it depends on how Britain produce the distance to get up to the French line and create another try, because I believe that Britain will have to score again to make sure of this match.
Well, I understand that the French side will be coming out of the pitch just behind the Great Britain side at the moment. Yes, they are. There's a French side. 12 points to 4 they trail, and we've got 40 minutes of the test match here, the second part of the Whitbread Trophy bit of test series with the French. They drew 10 apiece at Avignon, and there were 8 points between the sides at half-time there. Great Britain were leading by 10 points to 2. There are 8 points between the sides again here at Central Park. There the French came back, and Great Britain, I'm sure, will be conscious that the French came back there. And the referee, Kevin Roberts, having to turn around with the sun in his eyes a moment or two ago. The sun, in fact, is in those French eyes now, Peter Fox.
Yes, it is, but I don't think that will with them, Tony, because they've got a strong wind at the backs, and they'll be looking to get down into this English half as soon as they can.
So we get underway in the second half. Kick from Derek Fox. Taken by Tilly Bernabé. Bernabé runs straight back into Ian Potter. And also into Kevin Rain. French in their own 22. Dumas. Fielded a long way back. Just passed on to Joe Lydon. Lydon goes forwards. And there's Sully. I wonder if he'll bring Great Britain luck today. David Watkinson, the skipper, in the acting half-back position behind Lee Crooks at the moment. The Crooks picks up and goes himself. Just inside their own half. Box. Kevin Rain. Good performance by him in the first half. Fox again across the park. Crooks. And this man can go a little bit. It's Tony Marchant. Marchant still going. Not far from the French 25 now. Myler. Schofield. Fieldhouse still getting that ball across. Little Derek Fox. 3 Frenchmen around him to bring him down. Watkinson in acting half-back. Crooks one side of him. Fieldhouse the other. It'll go to Crooks. Long boot by Crooks. Dumas has to go scuttling back. Dumas takes it. Fox is up there. Dumas manages to avoid Fox. Dumas still keeping going, running back towards the middle of the field. Great Britain stopping quickly. Then the Bay again, working it out onto that right-hand side for Didier Couston to have a little run along the touchline. This is only a little run now. Grant's trying to get up to the halfway line. The sun right in the French eyes at the moment. We have some advantage of a wind at their back. So wind that doesn't seem as strong as it was earlier today, but there we can test that with this kick from Dumas. It's straight to a Great Britain player who's quickly collected by the French. Just past the 22-metre line of Great Britain. Derek Fox in the acting half-back position. Kevin Rain quickly to his feet. Fox, Crooks, and that goes straight out into touch, and the scrimmage down will be where he kicked it from. So the French in Great Britain territory. Kevin Roberts again trying to sort the scrimmage out with David Watkinson with his head outside it, and Tarr puts it in and it bounds straight out again, and you've come over here, says the referee. The French front row of Chantal, Bacot and Serge Titiot. And Tarr, Espina, keeping the ball in his hands, goes Denis Berger and Philippe Fourquet there, both going for the ball at the same time. It ends up with Fourquet, but again, Philippe Fourquet. More of a wrestling match there, and quite a physical one at that. And Lee Crooks, yes, I thought the head had gone in there. Yes,
he's accused him of butting, but Lee Crooks went in to help his own man as well. It
looked to be the movement.
A bit frantic, actually, Tony.
But frantic or not, it gives Dumas now the chance to bring the French a little closer to the Great Britain total. It's a place where, incidentally, Lee Crooks missed a kick from in the first half, but if this goes over, it'll be 12 points to 6. And you know, over there in Avignon, a kick out by Lee Crooks cost him 10 minutes in the sin bin and cost Great Britain 2 points, which drew the game level. Assistance for Dumas will be given by Pascal Laroche. Oh, no, it won't. And the number off Dumas' back is now virtually ripped off. Dumas, no, he didn't kick, he wasn't too far wide, but doesn't count, and the scoreline stays at Great Britain with 12 and France with those 4 points. French rather lucky with that. A reminder of the scorers in the first half. Lee Crooks, goal for Great Britain. Marc Poulenc got a try for France. And then it was Gary Schofield, not as I said, Tony Marchant getting a debut try. Sure, he'd have loved to have done that. But it was in fact Schofield and Marchant whose numbers had been changed round, at least on our programme, prior to the game. Dumas. French running quite well for the moment. Trying to get into the Great Britain half. They will now. Guy Lafort, right on the halfway line, the French captain. Pascal Laroche in the acting half-back position. And again, slightly better kick that, no, just behind the flag. So Great Britain will take over the possession. Desi Drummond scored the try in the first half. The try that took us to that half-time scoreline of 12 points to 4. Crooks, and down he goes. David Watkinson. They might play for two different clubs on Humberside, but they travel to the Great Britain training camp together in the same car. A passenger in that car also was David Laws. Makes his debut today. Neil James of Halifax. Derek Fox, Lee Crooks, Thierry Bernabe making certain that Crooks goes no further. Gary Schofield in an acting halfback. Derek Fox. And there's a knock-on. Dumas doesn't like it. It doesn't matter whether he likes it or not. It still was a knock-on. And a chance for Great Britain to get into French territory. The French were managed to keep in the Great Britain half a little bit there, Peter.
Yes, well, they're prepared to throw the ball about, and they do take risks, and it came off a while ago, Tony, but they haven't put the ball or kicked it very well for an attacking position yet.
Once again, the two front rows have to be sorted out. The Great Britain one of Lee Crooks, David Watkinson and John Fieldhouse. Derek Fox with the ball in his hands. And the referee just totally unhappy with that. And that will give Great Britain the chance for the scrummage offence by the French to move further and closer to the French line. Schofield it is who takes the kick. Watkinson who's now issuing the instructions. Des Drummond places it down for Watkinson. And now about 18 yards from that French line. 12 points to 4, Great Britain lead. Fox. Fieldhouse tries to turn. Could have made it available, wasn't quite able to do so. Watkinson in acting halfback. Again, Fox. Switch the other way. Myler. Then Rain. This is Schofield. Finds Fox. Fox looks to burrow through a gap. Saw a vision of the line, but it doesn't get any closer. Again, Watkinson. The French also with the sun in their eyes, facing the line of Great Britain shirts. This is Potter. And Potter's little Espuna getting a hand to that. Patrick Intat getting a hand to that. It's still Great Britain now. Right in front of the French post. This is Derek Fox. This is Rain on his debut for Great Britain. Watkinson at acting halfback. Critical score if Great Britain could get one now. Crooks. Good running. Neil James on his debut. There's a debut try for the Halifax lad. Neil James scores it. It's right underneath the sticks. It takes Great Britain up to 16 points to 4. And Neil James must be delighted, and he deserves to be.
A good pass by Fox to Crooksy. Crooksy, short ball is going to go no. Out wide to James, a prop off his left foot, inside towards the post. And this lad in his stride is very, very quick indeed. A very good and well executed try by Great Britain.
It told me that it almost hurt not to get on the pitch at Avignon last week. He wasn't used at all. Well, all that pain will be dissolved in a split second now. Neil James of Halifax has scored. He takes Great Britain up to 16 points. Gary Schofield takes them up to 18. So Schofield, who I so sadly wronged in the first half, gets on the scoreline rightly in this second half. And Great Britain go up to 18 points. With the improvement kick by Gary Schofield, the try, that was down to Neil James. 18 points to 4. Now what can the French do now? My first reaction, Peter Fox, would be to say probably not a lot.
Well, they've got to get the ball and get attacking position because they haven't used the wind and they haven't been on the attack really, Tony. The Great Britain lads have had the best of the action in this second half so far.
18 points to 4. At Headingley last year, the scoreline was 50 points to 4. The highest score, one previous to that, was 50 points as well. It was also the highest margin between the sides. I think we're a long way from a scoreline like that, but who knows? But at the moment, the French trailing by 18 points to 4. Potter. Palank. Goalkeeping Potter there. Watkinson. Kick ahead by Derek Fox. Dumas manages to juggle the ball into hands. Puts it back into Great Britain territory. Joe Lydon unable to get across to it. Fair kick there from Dumas. We were talking of Derek Fox before, and if I was to say to you, Peter Fox, a little bird tells me it won't be that long before you have him at Leeds, and that Featherstone are virtually going to be forced to release him, I bet I wouldn't be too far off the point.
Well, I can't comment on that at all because Featherstone are in relegation problem in the first division, Tony, and that is their first concern, to get out of the relegation zone. If
they don't manage that, then I imagine he'll be at Leeds. My opinion, I state, Peter Fox not willing to comment on the moment. T.D. Bernabé bringing about the tackle on said discussed Derek Fox. Potter. Bernabé again. Still Great Britain in their own half. Fox keeps going, the break is there, and oh, unlucky for Fieldhouse. The witness player had been able to get it in his hands. He might have been on for a rather long run to the try line. Dumas, Bernabé, to the French number 10, Serge Titio. Guy Lafont finished the game in Avignon, bandaged round the head, cut over the eye. Entire, the Spooner can't hold it, but he still keeps going. Little Dominique Espuna from Leginon, 19-year-old. Thierry Bernabé from Le Pontier. Great Britain in command of this game now. 18 points to 4, but the French will break on this side. Pascal Laroche, he caused trouble in the France-Great Britain game at Avignon. But that trouble snuffed out by Lee Crooks at the moment. Laroche waving his hands around. This is Dumas. Dumas, high kick up into the sun as far as we're concerned, but that won't affect Joe Lydon. Lydon takes it. Scampers towards Dumas, but Dumas is up there to hold Lydon. 10 yards from the Great Britain line. And Peter Fox on this French side, looking at the French for the moment. Anyone particularly impressed you there?
Well, Dumas is in all the action from full back. He's close up, but not anyone in particular, but they were tackling very well, Tony, in the first half. In the second half, they haven't tackled as well, haven't the French?
Great Britain with the advantage of possession, the territorial advantage just for the moment with the French, and the score advantage, of course, with the British. The sun in the French eyes, very, very strong. This is Tony Myler. Now he'd like to get a run in. There's James, the try scorer. Schofield inside to Desi Drummond. Martin's inside him. Drummond doesn't make it. Good stuff for the moment from Great Britain. And there's a little battle there. Little Patrick Entah and Desi Drummond swapping a word or two. Crooks. Long high ball. Switched back inside by David Laws. And Great Britain get into the French territory. Ball changes over on the sixth tackle for the French. Tony Myler, who spent 10 minutes in the sin bin in France. David Watkinson comes over to argue with the referee. A Frenchman's on the deck. Well, minus not for the sin bin this time. He was in France when I thought he was rather innocent in France, but he's moved away by the referee, who doesn't penalise him on this occasion. And that isn't Taz Baltieri with the headband on. That's the assistant French coach, also involved with the Avignon club. With the French in the walls a little bit at the moment, and losing in the game also. Chance now perhaps to improve their lot. Entar, Max Chantal. Ooh, and Chantal almost bouncing back of the wall of Lee Crooks and Neil James. French still scurrying around in front of the Great Britain post. Serge Titiot. Bernabé. France encouraged by the nearness to those posts then. Bernabé again. Marc Palanque. Palanque finding space. The number 4 has the ball. Philippe Fourquet. Palanque measures up. But France have the ball, although it goes shooting over the Spooner's head. Guy Lafort. Still France going forward. Denis Berger. Berger was a sub in the Avignon game that started this one. Espuna with a tempting little up in the air. Taken rather gratefully by Joe Lydon. Teddy Marchant at acting half-back for the moment. Derek Fox in at acting half-back. Still Great Britain inside their own 22. Not too much happening from them at the moment. There's the break from Derek Fox. Within his field house now. Who's going to back that move up? The ball eventually just aimlessly thrown behind. Desi Drummond will pick it up. But there was a break on there. I don't think the other Great Britain players had read it. And Desi Drummond now trying to thread his way through the eye of a French needle. But there was a break there, Peter Fox, and it wasn't taken the best advantage of, was it?
No, a super break by Derek Fox. He gave Fieldhouse it in the clearing. Fieldhouse made a terrible pass over the top and found no one.
Neil James trying to find his way through the French. David Watkinson, Derek Fox, Lee Crooks. Missing a man out and going for the far side with David Laws. David Laws to Marchant. Marchant kicks ahead. The ball, I think, already out of play. The touch judge linesman points back. So it went out on the full, but almost in a place to where Marchant ran out. Difficult to see a way that the French would get back into this game now. Time ticking away. A convincing victory is obviously what Maurice Bamford will be looking for the Great Britain side. This is the last international before the Australians. And one wonders whether 18 points to 4 would be a scoreline that he'd find suitable enough.
Yes, I think he'll be satisfied, Tony, because playing into this win, Great Britain have shown much better form than they did in the first half. They're playing very much better technically than the French. The French are at 6s and 7s.
A few more points, though, I'm sure would not go amiss. Joe Lydon will pick that up in the full-back spot. Very talented player indeed. And Desi Drummond is caught, gives it back to Lydon, who in turn is caught as well. Well, the French are getting into the Great Britain half, but not managing to do too much when they get in there. And Great Britain have again possession. And Thierry Bernabé not releasing. They give a chance for Great Britain to get further away from their own line. Lee Crooks. Dodging under the arm of Thierry Bernabé. Crooks in acting half back this time. Potter. Fieldhouse helps in the smuggling of that. Derek Fox heads it into his own hands and manages to keep the ball. Myler, James gets out of that. Strong running by Neil James. Oh, the Halifax boy really showing his mettle now. There's a Frenchman down somewhere behind him, but we'll concentrate on Fox. Myler, Schofield, there's Drummond, and Drummond can go a little bit. Dumas has got him, goes back inside and comes back off the foot of Gary Schofield. Schofield looks at Fieldhouse, he slaps hands with him, as if to say that was close, but this man, Desi Drummond, when he motors, can really go. I was saying before, the only second division player, but I'm sure Peter Fox at Lee not to be in the second division for much longer anyway.
Not really, they've got some very fast players and Desi's one of the fastest of them.
Drummond behind the scrimmage there, just bent over, hands on hits. We're only about 10 yards from the French line. Fox, Schofield, Myler, and this man can go a little bit. He'll try and loop round and he puts it out to number 5, and Laws, is he going to go in on his debut? Dumas is going to try and stop him. The pass out to the outside. There is Tony Marchant. Tony Marchant going in by the corner. I think we've kept our fingers crossed that Marchant would get on the score sheet somehow. He certainly does there. Peter,
very quick passing of the ball here. Good pass by Tony Myler. Tony Marchant takes his man on, goes round the outside, gives it to David Laws. David Laws, a very tenacious wingman, gives it to Gary Schofield. Schofield propped off the right foot, goes outside of Dumas, ships the ball to Marchant again, who goes over. Very happy man, Tony, to score on his debut.
So, Marchant a scorer on his debut, Neil James a scorer on his debut. Add that all up together, and with the other scores of Great Britain, with this long-range kick being attempted by Gary Schofield from out by the touchline, they lead by 22 points to 4. Player getting attended to for injury. And that kick, barely worth watching. We don't see it either. We're concentrating elsewhere at the moment, but I can tell you that it went squarely across the park. And certainly a kick worth missing. Well, Peter, the French finished all bar the shouting, and now is a time, if there is a killer instinct about the Great Britain side, to really start running them in.
Well, I think they've done well of Great Britain into this win, because they've moved the ball and played far better football than they played in the first half, and it's demoralised the French because the speed of the passing has beaten them on the outside.
Great Britain with the ball. Desi Drummond. Derek Fox. Tony Myler. And Myler's still going. This is what they looked for him for in Avignon, and frankly it wasn't provided. But it's being provided here today. There's Crooks. Crooks still goes. The French picking out Fieldhouse behind, but Watkinson says that's my spec. James of Halifax. Working it down the right-hand side. Watkinson in again. They're eager to get on with it, Great Britain. Fox, Crooks. Myler. Back inside to Schofield. Fox again, switching play one way, then the other way. Chance on that far side for Laws and Marchant. Marchant first. David Laws of Hull Kingston Rovers. Fox with the high one. Dumas didn't really want to that. They say that the sun was in his eyes, but he didn't seem to really want to know. Still a little while to go for Great Britain to look for further scores in this game, but it's France who move forward. France still going for that line, and it's little Didier Couston. They won't catch him. Couston will go right underneath the sticks. Didier Couston getting the congratulations of his teammates, putting the ball down where best it can go.
A bad tackle there by Myler, lets the forward down the touchline, he's looking for support, finds his wingman on his outside, A good run by the wingman there for the French, and it goes behind the post with no one getting near to tackle him. A slack piece of play there by Great Britain. Not alert to that, which looked nothing when it commenced.
Didier Couston, the scorer. 22 points to 8, the scoreline. Time still to go. I think it'd still be something of a miracle if the French could take advantage of that time. But Dumas can take advantage of the simplest of kicks and try and get the French into double figures, and he does just that. 22 points to 10. Couston the try. He got 3 tries on his test debut in Perpignan. 8,412 the attendance for this afternoon's Whitbread Trophy Test match. So the chance now, perhaps for the French, as number 15, Jean-Luc Rabault, comes on. He came on late in the game at Avignon as well. France wanting to keep possession and get moving very quickly. Neil James holding up Guy Lafort. Still France with possession. And the ball comes out of hands there. David Watkinson quickly to dive on it. And now Fieldhouse in the acting halfback. Great Britain will want to come storming back into this game. Fieldhouse, Kevin Wren said he did enough in the first half to deserve the right perhaps to join the try-scoring debutants in this game. Great Britain now about 25 yards from those French posts.
French substitution, number 15, Jean-Luc Rabault replaces number 8, Max Chantel.
On the 22, early touch of the ball for Jean-Luc Rabault, who comes from the Villeneuve club. Dumas. Oh, that is a long kick. Long kick, but fielded by Leiden, who just loops round with it. And look at this fella. This fella can go a bit when he wants to do. And he's still going, but stopped by the French, 20 yards from the halfway line, inside Great Britain territory. Tony Myler, Ian Potter. David Watkinson gives the shove to Serge Titio. Oh, good running. Here's Myler. Can he break free altogether? Schofield's up with him. Schofield goes back inside. They're still clutching anywhere they can for Myler. Myler on the 25. Has Schofield now behind him. The French go scuttling back. Fieldhouse keeps the pressure on, gives it to Desi Drummond. Cuts inside. Fox. An infringement there. French caught offside, and the number 10 was being pointed at quite strongly. A chance for Great Britain to increase their lead. I don't think Watkinson will call for a kick for the sticks, Peter Fox. And in fact he isn't doing, is he? Oh yes, he is!
Gary Schofield's going to take the kick, but I think there the referee was a little bit premature because Britain were moving well with the ball, Tony, and though the French were offside, I think the British lads had the chance of scoring another try wide out.
Serge Palere from the Perpignan club goes onto the field. And at 22 points to 10, Gary Schofield to kick for the post. Just away a little bit out to the right-hand side. Kicking into the wind. Kicking between the sticks. So Schofield moves us along to 24 points to 10. And although the French came back in a little bit, really the answer quickly provided by the boot of Gary Schofield. Little Derek Fox to Ian Potter. And onto that far side. 4 eventually feels it. That's Tony Marchant from Castleford. Potter again. Fox. And Kevin Rain of the Leeds Club. Again Watkinson to Fox. Crooks to James. Crooks to Fieldhouse. Kevin Rain again. Marchant laws it outside him. On the inside of him goes Schofield, but stop there. Is Tony Marchant. Laws to Fox. Fox puts it up. Oh. Crooks and Tony Milo went up together, and the eventual result of that was that the French come away with the ball. Dumas in an acting halfback. And Jean-Luc Rabot. Again to Dumas. Long kick upfield. Denis Berger. Oh, well fielded. Storming back into the French half. Watkinson, acting halfback, right behind him. He's got Ian Potter. He gives it to Tony Milo. Milo sees the gap, tries to get through it. Derek Fox into the acting halfback position this time. 2 men out to the left, so it's to the right we go with Lee Crooks. And Rain held to the ground by Guy Laforgue, the French skipper. Potter to Fieldhouse. They combined up quite well together at Avignon. And there's Crooks with a high tempter. But Didier Couston, and we've seen how he can move, but he doesn't get too far that time. Locked up by Tony Marchant. Very little time remaining in the game now. Thierry Bernabé. And once again, Tony Marchant in, but Dumas. This fella's tried hard throughout the game, so is Titier. And Dumas, very active player to Thierry Bernabé. And this is Couston again. But that time he pushes it back inside. Palang tries to get to it. Dumas falls over it. And eventually Patrick Entard plays a little football with it. And Great Britain will make another substitution. Andy Platt of St Helens warming up beside the pitch. Not too long to go, but he gets his match in for Great Britain. And it's John Fieldhouse coming off. Fieldhouse has been a fairly active player in the game, Peter Fox.
Yes, a strong forward, plays very hard, tackles well in the ruck, and I think that's what he's noted for, his tackling.
24 points to 10. Great Britain lead. For France, the tries have come from Marc Palang and Didier Couston. The goal from Gilles Dumas. Great Britain scoring, needing far more ink. And we have something of a delay. There's a French player down. Not a bad crowd here, but I think Peter Fox, you summed it up. It's a pity we couldn't get a crowd like Wigan are getting for some of their matches. They had 19,000 against Halifax.
Yes, and the crowd, I think they've been pleased with the second half display by Great Britain. They did boo a little bit when Schofield took that last goal kick, Tony, but that was to make the score 24-10. I think Britain were thinking at 22-10, if the French score, it puts them within 6 points of a drawn match again, and they didn't want that, so they made sure that the French have to score now 3 times.
And that is beyond the fringe.
That is right, definitely.
Here's Great Britain, and it's not beyond them scoring again as Tony Marchant tries to get his name again on the score sheet. He's got it on once. And according to me, he's even got it on twice. But that, of course, was wrong. It was Gary Schofield trying the first half. A rather a silly move there. And are we going to end this up with a fracas? Potter grabs hold of Tide Bernabé. The move was a little silly before that. But entente cordiale is somehow resolved by the referee. Guy Laforgue shakes his head. That won't make any difference whatsoever. Schofield finding touch just on the 22. Desi Drummond now. Few stoppages in this second half. Still a little time to play for. A try and a goal would take Great Britain up to 30 points, which would sound an extremely respectable scoreline. Can they do that? Watkinson keeps on going, and now Lee Crooks. Crooks keeps on going. Just outside the 22, almost in front of the sticks. Once again. Oh, this fella Neil James likes to run. He had one when he got the try, and he got one again then. Derek Fox pushing away much bigger players to get on with the game. Lee Crooks. And we are into the last 5 minutes of real time. Maybe a little for injury. Schofield, Fox, Watkinson, Myler, Andy Platt, not been on the pitch long, eager to get in and amongst the action. Joe Lydon up from the full-back position to Derek Fox, who juggles but manages to hold it. And nobody holds that one, and after the ball had been kicked on, David Watkinson, I think in part reflex, Paul, the French player, little Patrick Bacot, to the ground, and the French will have a penalty.
An inscribed tankard and a case of Whitbread Trophy winner goes to number 12 of Halifax, Neil James.
So we're hearing in the background the Whitbread Trophy Player of the Match Award, the debutant scorer, Neil James of Halifax. Peter Fox.
Yes, and he's had a very good second half and obviously caught the selector's eye to win this award.
So, number 12, Neil James of Halifax. And it could be
ex-Castleford and now with Halifax in the First Division, doing very well for Halifax, and the worthy winner of the award this afternoon. He's had a very strong game on attack and done his share of tackling as well.
The French now trying to make ground. Here's this little Enta trying to find his way around Gary Schofield and Tony Myler. Guy Laforgue goes in to try and help. French still with possession. Closing moment to this game, a game where Great Britain lead by 24 points to 10. Dumas has the ball. Andy Platt has Dumas. Enta. Titio. Big Ian Potter, he got the Man of the Match award in Avignon. Hauled up by David Watkinson. Enta again. Guy Laforgue, and Guy Laforgue is still going. He's got Pascal Laroche outside him. Laroche has it. Laroche still going. Desi Drummond has Pascal Laroche. 5 yards from the French line. Laroche ever eager to get on with it, and ever eager, I think, to do a little bit of arguing as well. But this is Dumas. This is Guy Laforgue. This is the French number 3, Denis Berger, on the 6th tackle. Now, what will the French do here? Dumas. Enta. Marc Palanque still puts it back. Titio still going. Tries to get it back. Yes, they do. This is Enta. This is Dumas. Paco, no, just comes out of Paco's hands at the end of it all. Great Britain have it from that. The referee, good refereeing that. Let's play go on. Great Britain with the ball. Peter.
Yes, he did very well there. The French were trying to do too much on the 6th tackle. They should have put the ball in the air, Tony.
Derek Fox. Lee Crooks makes a stooping manoeuvre. Had to be tried there by David Laws to get possession, but he managed it somehow. And Crooks again in the acting half-back position. Derek Fox.
To the winning captain,
Kevin Rain. Myler, not the best of passes from Myler. Desi Drummond goes back inside. He's going nowhere. The French have him. Serge Pilaret from the Perpignan club. And Joe Lydon's kick being brought immediately back. Lydon wants the ball. And he'll get it again and just deliver it by hand to David Watkinson. And with a kick to be taken by Gary Schofield. Schofield takes Great Britain just inside the French half. 14 points between the sides. And our rugby league arithmetic was worked out before by Peter Fox, who pointed out that the French would have to score on 3 occasions. And that the logistics of taking that kick by Gary Schofield. We are at the finish. Jerseys will be exchanged. Handshakes there will be. The scoreline will not change. 24-10, the final score. It was 10-10 at Avignon. But Great Britain have won here. Something of a mini pitch invasion. And the shirts being changed in the centre of the circle. The man with the more of the white shirts there than anybody was the late replacement Andy Platt. And Peter Fox, I think we can safely say that Great Britain deserved the victory. Made to work a little bit in the first half, but in the second half, when the wind came the other way around, or when they had the wind advantage against their faces, Great Britain, I think you believe, played very well indeed.
Yes, well, they had to move the ball, Tony. They strung along across the field, and young Foxy went into first man, moved the ball out. Crooksy did a marvellous job because he got in some long passes in and moving the ball wide. They outstripped the French, they got them for pace, they really set up attacks, and the technique of the game, they won it close in, and a good try by James really clinched it and didn't give the French much chance of coming back into the game.
Looking on the side that perhaps isn't so good, there was a couple of kicks by Lee Crooks missed in the first half that should have been more telling. But apart from that, an all-round good Great Britain performance? A
solid performance. I won't say it was spectacular. Once or twice we moved the ball very well across the field and had the French stranded. Perhaps the French seemed as though they were going to play a little bit better, but they just didn't get any continuity going at all.
And there for the Whitbread Trophy, we saw them just a second or two ago in a situation where they're going, there's David Watkinson to pick up the award for the match. He gets that. And Neil James, Peter Fox, the Halifax player, we saw him score a spectacular try, getting the award for the man of the match.
Yes, I don't think we can complain at that because I think he did a very good job. And
there
his try
now,
was
Neil
very
James.
good. That's the lad. 6'2", this lad. Very big, long striding fella.
John Fieldhouse comes down. Ian Potter comes down as well. There's the Great Britain side who weren't too happy after that 10-all draw at Avignon. Much happier. There's your future player there. At least I'm predicting that. Derek Fox. There he is.
You keep trying, Tony, but certainly Kevin Rains had a good game as well. Very pleased with Kevin's debut today.
And the sun still shines on the park here. We can see Lee Crooks just in the background there. A very tousled Lee Crooks.
Tireless player is Crooksy. Very good in the second row or in the front row. Tremendous game he's had today.
And what about Joe Lloyd, who's not played here for Wigan since he joined them for £100,000 from Widnes? What about his game today?
Well, he's had one game at full-back with under 24s, but today he's played very well. He's fielded the ball well, and he can make a lot of room upfield.
And there's a lad that'll be smiling for a long time tonight. Neil James of Halifax Rugby League Club. Been a couple of great years for Halifax. Their president, David Brooke, has poured a lot of money into the club. First of all, they had a lot of Australians, but this is a straightforward English lad. He didn't play at Avignon. He was disappointed not to go on the park at all where he was substitute. He went on today. He got a very, very fine try indeed. And perhaps he's written his way into those autograph books that he's now signing.
No question. And Halifax, very fortunate or very shrewd because they exchanged him for another front row forward that's gone to Castleford. And so it looks like Halifax have certainly got the best of that deal on his performance today.
You said a little earlier you thought when it was, I think, 22 points to 4 that Maurice Bamford would be quite happy with the result, the scoreline. The final one of 24 points to 10, equally happy?
Well, he might have wanted 1 or 2 more tries to finish off with, but I think it's a performance that showed that Britain can score the tries. They moved the ball well, Schofield running well, Marchant's had a good debut. Perhaps Desi Drummond, after his try, hasn't had too many chances, but takes his chances very well, does Desi. Schofield, unlucky not to get another try, as we've said, but I think an all-round performance in the second half was very, very good indeed.
But we come to perhaps the real point of it all, though. The Australians. Now, I believe that you're not, as yet, in your own mind, happy that Great Britain can actually take and beat the Australians.
Well, I wouldn't say we couldn't beat them. We have beaten them, Tony, in the past. But what I would say is that...
You beat them when, in fact, you were coach, and then you were sacked.
Perhaps so, yes. And we haven't beaten them since. I think that Maurice Bamford has got to name his squad of players and get them ready for the Australians. You can't keep adding to the side and bringing new men in all the time.
Is this man ready for the Australians, Lee Crooks?
This fella, Lee Crooks, is one of the best forwards playing the game today. And he played all last summer in Australia.
So Lee Crooks signs autographs. One measure of the game of rugby league is, I wonder how many of the professional football game you'd have seen some 5 minutes after the match is over still signing autographs on the field.
Well, that's rugby league, Tony. There's a subtle difference between being a star player in rugby league and a star player in any other sport. The lads in our game appreciate the supporters, and particularly the young kids, and they'll sign forever.
Well, Lee Crooks looks like he's going to be out there forever because he's still signing autographs. Fairly cold it is. They brought their own water over here from France. I don't know whether that was supposed to inspire them in any way at all. But there now, the stand has fast emptied out. Still some Great Britain players on the field having to escape to the hot bath. But Great Britain have won this game by 24 points to 10. They took the lead with a penalty from Lee Crooks. There's little Derek Fox. Good game from Derek Fox.
Very good game. I thought he got the continuity of the British backs moving very well indeed.
Keen little player.
And a very good tackler, Tony, too, so he's not frightened of bringing the big guys down.
Heart of a lion. He tells me that he prefers to tackle them bigger. I mean, I know this old saying of the bigger they are, the harder they fall, but Derek Fox actually believes it.
Well, get them down by the legs and a big fella can easily be brought down, and that's Derek's attitude to the game.
Well, we can look back at this game now, Peter, and talk our way through it. First of all, after 7 minutes, it was a penalty from Lee Crooks that made it Great Britain 2, France 0. But you remember that try from Mark Palank for the French on the right-hand side when we were beginning to think they didn't have the firepower. Palank actually aimed himself for that line and made it there.
He did. 3 or 4 players had the ball before him, and each of them tried to struggle the way through. He eventually died over Derek Fox, and the referee awarded a try, which I think the spectators thought was a little bit lucky.
Gary Schofield then got the try that we at one stage accredited to Tony Marchand, who was later to score himself. Lee Crooks then with a goal, and it was Great Britain 8, France 4. And just before half-time, we wondered whether it would be enough. And then Desi Drummond, intercity Desi Drummond, went over unstoppable in the corner. A move that I'm sure delighted that man, the skipper of Great Britain today, David Watkinson.
And hasn't David Watkinson led them very well, because he's a hooker, he's in the centre of the scrum, he does the hard work there. He talks his forwards into getting the ball, and certainly inspires his side with tremendous tackle instinct.
12 points to 4 at half-time. Great Britain had the wind at their backs, but then into the sun it was going to be for the French. But Great Britain were also in a situation there when they no longer had the advantage of the wind. They did have the advantage, though, of Neil James making his debut, the Halifax player, and he really stormed over.
He did, and that was again a little bit of play from Lee Crooks that took a man short alongside him, but put the wider ball to Neil James on the burst, and Neil sidestepped off his left foot and went behind the post for a tremendous second row forwards try.
Gary Schofield goaled that one, and then Tony Marchand obliged both you and me, Peter Fox, by going over in the corner and taking it to 22 points to 4. At that stage we didn't think the French would have anything more to offer, but that little fella Didier Couston on that far right hand side went over. He was really running like a fire engine, wasn't he?
He was in the end, and good play by the second row forward that took him down that touchline side, got a good pass into him. He scampered the left 30-40 yards down the touchline side and moved in towards the post to give them what we thought then would be a consolation try. 22
points to 8 it was. Gilles Dumas made simple arithmetic of making it 22 points to 10. And then there was a penalty for Great Britain, a penalty where there was a little bit of booing from the crowd, and I actually thought, Peter Fox, that maybe they should have run that ball. You had the answer. Go for that scoreline that meant that France would have to score 3 times to in fact win the game.
That's right. It just put Great Britain definitely in front, with the French no chance of coming back and having a say in the match from there on in.
So Gary Schofield stepped up. The kick Well, it wasn't the most simple, but it wasn't the most difficult either. It went between the posts, and the final scoreline finishes at 24 points to 10. A solid Great Britain performance, perhaps one with only occasional flair in it on a very bitterly cold day, really, here at Central Park. If you could sum it up, how would you do it, Peter Fox?
Well, I would say the French came and tried very hard. They've tried very hard indeed, being lifted by that 10-10 draw in Avignon. But today at Wigan, where it's very, very cold, very hard to play into this wind, the French did well in the first half. They took themselves, all the energy and power in that first half was taken out of them. They'd no sting for the left for the second half, and I think the British lads got stronger and stronger. Strong forward play, good moves, and Tony Myler came into the game more second half too, running with the ball, getting the back row men running. The backs ran very well and really ran out with technique. I think the British lads' technique showed throughout the game.
So there you are, the final of a game which at Avignon had finished at 10 apiece, gave Great Britain a victory here at Central Park by 24 points to 10. Recapping those scorers then for Great Britain, first of all, Lee Crooks with a penalty. Marc Palanque quickly answers for France, gets a try in the corner, and it's 4 points to 2. Dumas fails with the kick. Gary Schofield latches onto the ball and goes over by the sticks to make it Great Britain 8, France 4. But then at half-time, the only other scoreline to come as far as Great Britain was concerned was that Des Drummond went over for a try. In the second half, the French tried, but the try scoring came first from Neil James. He went over, Gary Schofield goal, and it was 18 points to 4. Tony Marchant then on the score sheet. He making a debut game today, getting on that score sheet with a fine try and taking it to 22 points to 4. But Didier Couston had an answer for France. He came in and scored under the post. Gilles Dumas, simple arithmetic with that kick, and simple arithmetic again from Gary Schofield to take us to a final scoreline of Great Britain with 24 points. France, they had only 10.